स्वामिन् नमस्ते नतलोकबन्धो कारुण्यसिन्धो पतितं भवाब्धौ मामुद्धरात्मीयकटाक्षदृष्ट्या ऋज्व्यातिकारुण्य सुधाभिवृष्ट्या स्वामिन् नमस्ते स्वामिन् नमस्ते स्वामिन् नमस्ते स्वामिन् नमस्ते जन्मानेकशतैः सदादरयुजा भक्त्या समाराधितो भक्तैर्वैदिकलक्षणेन विधिना सन्तुष्ट ईश स्वयं साक्षात् श्रीगुरुरूपमेत्य कृपया दृग्गोचरः सन् प्रभुः तत्त्वं साधु विबोध्य तारयति तान् संसारदुःखार्णवात् तत्त्वं साधु विबोध्य तारयति तान् संसारदुःखार्णवात्। जय गुरु, जय गुरु, जय गुरु। So, I have started discussing this Prabhata Rashmi talks of Pujya Swamiji, which are the talks which Pujya Swamiji gives, very short talks, every morning after the Pushpa Samarpanam that we have in the ashram, where we all assemble and offer our pranams to Pujya Swamiji in our hall where he sits. We offer our pranams with flowers, and we offer the flowers at his holy feet and do pranam. After this Pushpa Samarpanam is done, the Pushpa Samarpanam, which is also done amidst the chanting of Guru Stotras. Stotras from Shankaracharya's compositions and from Guru Gita. And after everybody has finished their prostrations, Pujya Swamiji talks on some subject or other, on spirituality, the supreme truth, and sometimes giving very direct instruction for sadhana to attain the supreme truth. I already told in the first talk that these talks and the Pushpa Samarpanam, which started in the year 95, the talk started in 1996. We started taking them out in our English magazine, Vichar Setu, and later these are being translated for the Malayalam and the Hindi journals also. And slowly books came out, Prabhat Rashmi Volume 1, 2, 3. There are many other talks which have not been published, but they are there. Some of them are there in the website also. So, in the last talk that I had here, I read out the introduction which was given to the first volume, the introduction, written by Nirvisheshananda Swamiji, our Nutan Swamiji. And then I took up one of the topics called sublimity. I'm giving this short introduction so that whoever is listening to it for the first time will understand what are these talks about. In these talks, Swamiji sits in his chair, in his seat, and it is very different from his lectures, where he is very powerful and he is very vibrant. These are talks which he talks in calmness, mostly closing his eyes, and the words come out from the depth of his own self. These are the morning messages for all of us. My dear children, you must imagine the scene. These are not lectures which Swamiji gives from a platform, from a stage, or through the screen online. These are actual talks which he gives in the ashram or the centers where he travels to, sitting in front of the devotees and seekers of truth who have come to him to be associated with him and be instructed by him. It is somewhat like the Yoga Vasishta Ramayana, where Sri Rama sits in front of sage Vasishtha, and sage Vasishtha gives his instructions for 18 days to Sri Rama. That is the actual physical sitting in front of the Guru and listening. Here, in the Prabhat Rashmi, all of us, we have the fortune of sitting in front of the Guru at his feet and listening to the words of wisdom. So today, I'll start with sublimity. In the last talk also, I started with this, but I felt that the whole talk was nearly more than 1 hour, so I stopped. So I'll start again. Here, it is 6th June 1997, so you can understand, long back. Those days, the ashram was small. The ashram new building was not there. It was the old building. The old building, if you have seen the picture in the book, The Great Association, a Great Association book, a cottage-like, hermitage-like building, to which were added later on the Annakshetra, then guest houses and all that. But the main building was made of mud and cement plaster with tiled roof. So it looked very, just like a very hermitage of any sage. And that building had a veranda, 2 verandas. One was just as you enter, a long veranda along the length of the building. And then one step we had to get up. There was another long veranda, just the same length, but it was one step higher than the lower one. At the end of this lower one, there was a shrine where we used to have our morning prayers and evening prayers. Later, when our prayer room, the Samadhi Mandir, came up, we have shifted to that prayer hall. This veranda was the place where the Prabhat Rashmi first started, Pushpa Samarpanam and Prabhat Rashmi. So the whole nature, in the morning, the ambience would be so nice with the breeze, the sun just peeping up birds and squirrels and butterflies. And while Swamiji spoke with his eyes closed, and we also sitting at his feet with eyes closed, there was a lot of sublimity and divinity felt in our minds. Now things have changed. Now we have our Pushpa Samarpanam and Prabhat Rashmi in our hall, Vijnana Bhavan. But I think all those who attend this program, they feel the same kind of divinity and sublimity every day. So what is this sublimity? What do we feel? What exactly is the word sublimity? Swamiji has explained. So, this is the sixth chapter called Sublimity, and a small preface is there. It is said that a lot of time and effort is being emphasized to ensure that the seekers learn to make all their activities a sadhana. And there is more emphasis on studies, perfection in service, attention, and integrity in living together, and above all, on preserving the austere sublimity of the atmosphere under all circumstances. That is, the ashram, Swamiji, Pujya Swamiji always says that in the ashram everything runs around spirituality. A person who is a keen seeker of truth, keen seeker to know one's own self, he will be able to understand how everything, every activity here is on the basis of spirituality and spirituality alone. And when we understand that nothing we can do, forgetting that I am the self, what is my real identity, when we can live with this knowledge in the mind constantly, whatever we do, in that we find a feeling of expansion, a feeling of purity, as if we have bathed inside. So Swamiji is saying that, truly speaking, spiritual or devotional life is a life lived in the heart, mind, and intelligence. When I say intelligential, I mean something absolutely different from intellectual, as the word is usually understood. The word intellectual is also used, and intelligence also is used. But in spirituality, the whole sadhana is lived in the heart with emotions, feelings, sentiments, mind with thoughts, and intelligence where we decide, we have firm resolve and all that. Now, Swamiji goes on to say that this word intellectual and intelligence, though people use it for the same thing, that is the buddhi, the two have different meanings in spirituality. What is it? He says, in the intelligential pursuit, the effort and emphasis are to generate sublimity and purity. Say with intellect, we may say in a usual manner that, oh, he is very intelligent, whatever he reads, he grasps very well, and he can write very well. He understands very well. He has a very good intellect. So both the words have been used. Swamiji is saying that here in spirituality, that when we say that the pursuit is in intelligence, it must be understood that in this pursuit, there will be sublimity and purity associated. When we study something, we read something, any of the subjects, or we have done some work applying our intelligence, it's not necessary that we feel pure and sublime. But here, intelligence, when we use it in the spiritual sense, then what happens? The inside, it attains an expansion, and it feels as if all the knots which constrict us is getting unwound, and we feel a feeling of sublime feeling, a pure feeling, a divine feeling, as we feel when we go to temples or we worship or we chant something. So, in the intelligential pursuit, the effort and emphasis are to generate sublimity and purity. A pursuit with the intelligence, which does not give rise to a simultaneous or consequent feeling of sublimity and freedom, purity and expansion, is merely an intellectual exercise. My dear children, do you understand this? With intelligence and intellect, we can do anything. People become master of many subjects. They go higher and higher in their profession. They may be well known, but when it does not give this purity, freedom, expansion, sublimity, then it is only an intellectual pursuit. It is not a spiritual pursuit where we have applied the intelligence. The spiritualists want to be joyous and peaceful, but he wants to be independent of the external factors. See, joyous and happy, peaceful and happiness, everybody wants. But a spiritual person, a seeker, he knows that the joy and peace that we get from the external objects, those are transitory and short-lasting. So, they are always seeking that truth by which, gaining which, he will become, his joy and peace will become independent of the external factors, objects, people, or circumstances. Our joys and our peace, our delight, everything is dependent on few factors, objects, people, circumstances, etc., situations. But a spiritual seeker, as he takes to this pursuit, he understands that these are all transitory, short-lived, and he then seeks that joy which will be everlasting, which will be eternal, independent of these factors. His peace and joy emerge from the eternal source within. He understands that I am the self and my joy is within me, not outside in the objects or situations. We become joyous, we become happy when we get an object which we had desired, a situation which we had desired. But a spiritual person, a seeker, knows that the joy is within oneself, not outside. Fostering the link with the inward source is what brings sublimity. So, this is what sublimity is. When we say that a scene, something that we have heard, and some spiritual wisdom, some words or spiritual knowledge, some instructions to gain purity, we feel sublime. Why do we feel sublime and divine when we worship? Because for that moment our focus is on something divine. But the same divinity or the self is inside us. So the sublimity depends on our remaining united or remaining in contact with the inward source, the source which is within us. Fostering the link with the inward source is what brings sublimity. So, my dear children, if we have to have divinity, feeling of divinity or sublimity throughout our day, every moment, then we have to be linked with our source within. A spiritual seeker tries to nurture this link through everything he does. Everything. It's not only the worship of 2 hours or meditation of 2 hours or reading a book for say 1 hour or 2 hours or chanting for some time, doing bhajan for some time. No. A spiritual seeker tries to nurture this link. What link? The link with oneself. That I am the self. Never forgetting it. So, his sadhana becomes to remember that link, that I am the self. So, a spiritual seeker tries to nurture this link through everything he does. In fact, this sublimity is the goal of all forms of religious and spiritual pursuit. So it is the goal of all religious pursuit when we worship with various items, chantings, lamps, incense sticks, and whatnot. That is the goal, to feel divinity, to feel sublimity, to feel some happiness which is different from getting some object which you wanted. It is something divine. So for religious practices also and for spiritual practices also, this sublimity is the goal. We have a common word, bhakti. What exactly does it mean? What does bhakti mean? Swamiji is asking. Is it only a faith or concept? What actually is the expression of bhakti in one? So it is just a concept. And what is the expression of bhakti? If you inquire like this, you will find that bhakti is an emotion or attitude that should generate greater and greater notes of sublimity in the individual. If the so-called practice of bhakti fails to generate sublimity, then that is no bhakti at all. My dear children, every line is so important, and every line has to be introspected upon. What is Swamiji saying? We have a common word, bhakti. We all feel we are bhaktas. We have a lot of bhakti for God. We have faith for God. We worship God. Especially on some special days we do puja, or every day we go to a temple, we do pradakshina, or in our own shrine we spend some time every day. And we feel that we are having bhakti. Maybe sometimes when we do worship, our eyes shed, we feel lot of emotions surging up. All that happens. But what is it actually? Unless this bhakti sublimates us, that is, purifies us, makes us divine, then that bhakti is no bhakti. And what does that mean? That means that whatever characteristics of a bhakta is, a devotee is, which our scriptures have told, that the bhaktas should have these lakshanas. They should love everybody. They should be always contented. They should have friendliness. They must have samatva in the mind. They must have a firm resolve. They must not get irritated. They must not have such traits which irritate others. They must not criticize others. So many are there. So, if we have a feeling of bhakti, we do worship, but that worship does not take away the undesirable notes from us, leaving only the purifying notes, strengthening only the purifying notes, then that bhakti is no bhakti. We can all understand that. People who feel lot of bhakti, they may spend 2 hours in the morning for puja, and many say that this person, without doing the puja, without chanting Vishnu Sahasranama or other slokas, he never takes his breakfast, and all feel that, oh, he is such a bhakta. But is that person devoid of anger, devoid of dukkha, devoid of fear? No. You will find the same person while he is shedding tears, chanting slokas, getting up and then behaving very angrily with somebody, irritatedly with somebody, criticizing somebody. So, bhakti must bring in sublimity in us, otherwise it is no bhakti at all. Bhakti or sublimity is something one has to generate himself. Maybe some are given to it by birth, while others have to cultivate it. Some are given by birth, some feel that sublimity, and they progress. And some will have to understand, introspect, and cultivate that sublimity. Every morning, you are doing a Pushpa Samarpanam for your Swamiji. See, he comes to the Pushpa Samarpanam itself, about which I have told you in detail. What is it meant for? Is it necessary for your Swamiji? Is it necessary for Swamiji? No. He is a saintly person, he is a realized person. It doesn't matter to him whether anybody gives him respect as pranam or not. He is always absorbed in himself. So any kind of worship, whether we do it to an idol or we do it to the Guru or Mahatma, it is not for them. The worship is for the worshipper. The worshipper should get a sublime feeling, a divine feeling, a purifying feeling, and not only a feeling. Actually, whatever is impure inside, by the worship, those impurities should simply get removed. That is why Yudhishthira was told that, oh Yudhishthira, get absorbed, take a dip in the Atma Nadi, the river which is called Atma. The river has water, any river has water, it has a flow, it has waves, and it has banks. So this Atma Nadi, it has got its own characteristics as the water, the bank, and the flow. Yudhishthira is being told, Atrabhishekam Kuru Panduputra. O Panduputra Yudhishthira, you take a dip in your Atma Nadi, in your own self. Na varina shuddhyate cha antaratma. If you take just a bath outside, your antaratma will not become pure. To become pure, you have to take dip into your own antaratma, the river which is the Atma. So, for any kind of devotion, we may worship, but unless that worship purifies us, then that worship has no meaning. Purification, sublimation, all are same thing. That you feel bathed, you feel that you have become light, expansive, free. So Swamiji is saying every morning, you are doing a Pushpa Samarpanam for your Swamiji. What is it meant for? Is it necessary for your Swamiji? So is it necessary for Swamiji? No. We are doing a Pushpa Samarpanam because we feel that we want to do pranam to the holy feet and feel purified inside. We don't expect anything else, not even blessings, nothing. We just want to become purified. Sublimity we want to feel. Divine we want to feel. When we touch the divine feet, when we offer the flowers at the divine feet, the mind should be focused only Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, and offer along with the physical flowers one's purity, impurity, mind, intelligence, everything, and feel, mold me in the manner in which you like, O my Lord. I am yours, I am yours, I am yours. This is what we should do. This is for our benefit. This Pushpa Samarpanam is meant for generating a mood and note of sublimity in the ashram and the ashramites at the beginning of the day. Someone collects the flowers. In doing so, you should generate within yourself as much sublimity or bhakti as possible. We go plucking flowers. How do we pluck flowers? Looking at the trees which have flowered, mind should immediately get connected to the source. The Creator, the universal power which is making these trees give these flowers. So many varieties He has created, and these flowers are the creation of that Creator, the Lord, the Supreme. When we look at nature, we should only be associated with the Creator. Immediately the thought should come. And we should look at the flowers and say, oh, how beautifully you have created them. And give me the chance to pluck a few of them to be offered at the altar. The altar may be an idol, and here the altar is our living God, our Guru. With that kind of feeling, the flowers should be plucked. Very tenderly, seeing that we don't press them too much. Have you looked at flowers, my dear children? I think all of you have looked. The flowers are so soft, so tender. Some of them, their colors are so soft. And in that soft, light color, how beautifully the Lord has drawn the lines. Beautiful is the petal, beautiful are the petals. And some are having so much of fragrance, some just are there with their beauty. And have you thought ever that they bloom? Nobody may look at them, nobody may appreciate them, but they just bloom. They bloom to be offered at the feet of the universal Lord. They don't expect anything. It is their duty and responsibility to bloom, that is why they have. Similarly, we should be. So, when we go to pluck flowers, how easily our mind can have these sublime thoughts. Instead of that, suppose we pluck the flowers hurriedly. In plucking one flower, suppose we damage a bud which would have blossomed the next day. We should not do that. We should be very attentive, and we should take the permission of the tree that please give one of your children to be offered at my Guru's feet or at the Lord. We always say, in our ashram, lot of flowering trees are there. And we have told everybody, whoever goes to pluck, if only there are 3-4 flowers, take only one. If there are only 1 or 2, don't take them, because that tree may feel that everything have been taken away, my children have been taken away from me. When we think like this, my dear children, how soft are the thoughts, how sensitive are the thoughts, how feelingful are the thoughts, even for trees. So, Swamiji says that someone collects the flowers. In doing so, you should generate within yourself as much sublimity or bhakti as possible, being attentive to the beauty and purity of the flowers, and through that to the Creator, will certainly elicit a sublime note of bhakti in you. So, we become attentive to the beauty of the flower, purity of the flower, and through that we remember the Creator, get associated, and also we can think, just like you have given life to these plants, you have created the plants and the flowers, similarly you have created me also, I am your part. Immediately the sublime thought makes us get connected with that Creator. This whole universe, we are in the wakeful state. So many things we do. We think, we speak, we are active, we have responsibilities, we have duties, we have interactions with others, so many things. If we think, who has created me? Just looking at the flower, we can think like that I too am created by you. And just like this flower has bloomed with utmost beauty and purity, may I also be able to bloom with beautiful qualities, my Lord. These are the sublime feelings. In plucking the flowers, you have to be selective as well as sensitive, which again will add to the sublimity generated in your mind. The plucked flowers are then cleaned and petals separated. Some people, they then sit with the flowers and petals are slowly separated from the stalk. This job too needs great attention and delicate handling. The separated petals kept on the plate must radiate beauty and purity. They must not look dirty, lifeless, or wilted by mishandling. See, the flowers are plucked. Maybe the person who has plucked with lot of attention. Those who are cleaning the flowers, they have to see that the flowers plucked are, then the petals are separated from them. In a very tender manner, they should not press them too hard. They should not make the flowers dirty. There are white flowers, if we handle them too much, any flower, if we handle them too much with, force, then the soft petals, they get pressed. Then they look dirty. Then they look lifeless. So Swamiji is saying, how much sensitivity one must have. That is the sublimity. That is the divinity. That something which the God has created to be used for worship gives some attention and delicate handling to that job. They must not look dirty, lifeless, or wilted by mishandling. Today, Ma showed us how beautifully the petals were arranged in the vessel by one of the devotees. When I looked at it, it generated a mood of sublimity in me. Sometimes the vessel where the flowers after cleaning are kept, some devotee or other will make a sort of a rangoli with all the flowers. It looks so pure, so sublime. My dear children, this is not only with flowers. Even here, we are talking of the time of the Pushpa Samarpanam, which may last from half an hour to 45 minutes. What about the other time of the day? Other time of the day also the same sublimity should be kept awakened in the mind while we are arranging our office table, while we are cooking, while we are making our bed, while we are folding our clothes, while we are arranging the files, while we are doing some work, any profession. This should be this attentiveness and thinking that I am able to do everything because the Creator has created me and has given me the ability to do it. I'll do it perfectly. All these are possible only when somebody wants to be sublime. This is very, very important. Many will read these books. When we read, immediately we should feel, how can I become sublime? From now on, how I can change my way of working, the way of thought, way of doing things, so that I gain this sublimity, which Swamiji is trying to explain. The practice can be physical. See, first one has to have the wish. That is called the yearning. The practice can be physical, like washing the vessels and plucking flowers. So in this Pushpa Samarpanam, the sublimity practice can be done through plucking flowers, cleaning them very well with a sublime feeling, or washing the puja vessels, which is also a physical work, cleaning the altar, that is also a physical work. But with what thought? Not of the thought that, after this is over, I have to do this thing, that thing, that thing. The whole mind should be focused on the work which God has given you at that time. And constantly thinking that this universal power, the Supreme Lord, is making me do these things with a sublime feeling. I should become purified. No other thought. The practice can be physical, like washing the puja vessels and plucking flowers. Can be oral, chanting or singing. And mental, by thinking and reflecting. So, all this can be done together. While we are, wiping the altar, plucking the flowers, while we are cleaning the flowers, constantly the introspection of thinking and reflecting, and thinking of that source which is creating everything. All this can go together and make us feel sublime. Do you think that this flower offering program would have generated so much of sublimity without the accompanying chorus chanting? So Swamiji is saying, suppose we had just collected some flowers and came in a disorganized manner and offered, not having these thoughts and this chorus chanting, where every shloka we are saying Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Actually, my dear children, I am telling all of you, many of you have attended this Pushpa Samarpanam sometime or other, or day after day, while you are in the ashram. While I am reading this, please reflect. Every day, the mind should be sublime. It should not be just a mechanical Pushpa Samarpanam program. Every day while taking the flowers, offering it, waiting for your own chance to come, and chanting Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Offer yourself, offer yourself. Say that I want to offer myself. Make me pure, make me sublime, make me divine, so that this divinity, this purity, this sublimity does not leave me at any time. This should be. You know, when I stepped into this spiritual path, I was quite young. I was in Delhi pursuing my PhD, and I wanted to sometimes be in a spiritual atmosphere. The research scholars, they used to have their own place. Every research scholar had one room or a cubicle. So I got a lot of time apart from doing the research work. I would read some books, and then I came to know that there was one Aurobindo Society, which was far away from the university, Delhi University. So I started going there. There was a meditation room. I used to sit there and do meditation. I would go all alone. The bus would leave me at least half a mile away. I had to walk that distance. I used to feel as if I'm flying and going. The whole mind used to be when I will go and sit and be absorbed into myself. I would be talking to God and going. In the next building stayed a couple who were actually in charge of that Sri Aurobindo Society, where the meditation room was there. They had a library, they had other things, sales counter and all that. So sometimes when I would go, that meditation center would be locked. So I would go and ask the couple, I would call them uncle and auntie, and they would give me the key to the hall. So one day, when I had come, they were going out. They said, doesn't matter, you take the key, and I'm giving you this cassette and a cassette player. You listen. There is some beautiful chants there. So, cassette and cassette player was very new. In those days, it was the years 1975. So he told me how to operate it. I sat in the meditation hall and played the cassette. And that cassette contained the Guru Stotras sung by some devotee of Aurobindo Ashram. Beautiful. I can still feel this, the feelings which I had, the emotions that I had, just hearing the word Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I could not understand all the slokas. Later only I got the script and the meanings. That was much later. But only this one phrase, that to that Guru I do pranam. And what pranam meant, I did not know. But I could feel that sublimity, that with every pranam, my whole being was feeling like offering oneself. That kind of an offering which, by giving yourself completely, I was feeling it is not complete. I still have to give what I did not know. My mind, my intelligence, my body, I did not know. I think at that time I only felt myself. My whole being I just want to offer. For what? That also I did not know. That feeling was so strong, that sublime feeling, that pranam feeling. Why I am saying this? Ever after, every day we sing this, I think I get that feeling, what I felt at that time. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And that feeling is for the universal, Supreme Lord, who is manifest in our Guru. Swamiji is saying, do you think that the flower offering program would have generated so much of sublimity without the accompanying chorus chanting? When the chorus chanting is there, we are fortunate enough to hear it again and again and again. That is why in this para he has said, all these are possible only when somebody wants to become sublime. When we want to become sublime, then we don't miss it. It becomes our system. It enters us and it grips us in such a manner that everything seems sublime if we remain connected to the source. In offering the petals also, as much elegant, gentle and devotional as one can be, so much will be the sublimity felt. Listen to these very, very carefully. In offering the petals also, we wait for our turns to come. In offering the petals also, as much elegant, gentle and devotional as one can be, so much will be the sublimity felt. Receive the flowers softly. Proceed gently. Prostrate humbly and elegantly, not in a sudden and rough manner. When somebody does it with refinement and devotion, the onlookers also will have a touch of sublimity. What did he say? Receive the flowers softly. The flowers have been collected softly, tenderly, have been cleaned softly and tenderly with a lot of sublime feelings. So, when the flowers are being given, that should be given in a very soft and tender manner, not just taking like this, holding them in a very soft manner and given in a very soft manner to the person who is receiving in their hands like this. And then Swamiji says, receive the flowers softly, proceed gently, prostrate humbly and elegantly, not in a sudden and rough manner. When somebody does it with refinement and devotion, the onlookers also will have a touch of sublimity. When a person does it feeling the sublimity oneself, those who are seeing, they will also feel sublime. People do not know what it is to take to a sublime practice. People do not know that through these small things we can become sublime. We can feel that sublimity. People do not know. You are the person to gain by your prostration, by your humility. the prostration that we make, the humbleness or humility that we feel inside, we will be gaining. The person or idol before whom you prostrate is surely not to get the benefit of your prostration. If you are prostrating at the idol or the guru or a mahatma, that person is not going to get anything, any benefit. It is the benefit of the person who has prostrated with this kind of divine feelings. If they don't have those feelings, it is just a prostration, nothing else. No gain will be there. No purity will be there. No removal of impurities from the mind will be there. It will be just an act of prostration and a feeling that I have prostrated. It will not take you towards that sublime process of going towards the goal of supreme truth. That day will be the best day. You know, this para I like very much. How many times I have read this, I don't know. That day will be the best day when you will be able to look at the most affluent earth and feel the touch of divinity in the various objects and life forms. Feel the supreme presence that makes the earth revolve, the seasons arrive in turn, the plants and trees blossom. That day will be the best day of the life, when you will be able to look at the most affluent earth. Earth is affluent with so many varieties, where beautiful flowers are there, thorny flowers are there, fragrant flowers are there, and non-fragrant is there. Good people are there, bad people are there. Some are cruel, some are loving. So many varieties are there. It is affluent with that kind of variety. But when we can look at this most affluent earth and feel the touch of divinity in its various objects and life forms, feel the supreme presence that makes the earth revolve, the seasons arrive in turn, the plants and trees blossom. Seeing everything, we should be able to feel the supreme presence. Whether we like it or we do not like it. Objects, situations, people, feelings, emotions, viewpoints, everything. In everything we should go back to the source. Immediately think, this is from that source, the universal source, the one source from which everything has come. That is why Swamiji says that everything is the extension of the self and self alone. How beautiful all this is, provided you can look at it with a comprehensive vision. Comprehensive vision. And my dear children, it's true that we don't have that vision. We have not been told to have this vision. We have not been taught to have this vision. You tell me, were we told in our schools and colleges and universities to have this kind of a vision? Seeing everything, whatever we are seeing, and through all the other sense organs, whatever we are perceiving, to be seeing that supreme, the supreme creator. Nobody told us that we should make a habit of it. And when we are coming to know of it, it will take time to have that comprehensive vision. But we can have that vision if we want to have. So from now on, look at everything and feel that, oh, this also is from the self. This also is from the Supreme. Tears are from the Supreme. Laughter is from the Supreme. Happiness is from the Supreme. Unhappiness from the Supreme. How beautiful all this is, provided you can look at it with a comprehensive vision. I think this sublimity, generation of it, experiencing it, being enriched by it again and again, is the one purpose of bhakti as well as spiritual life. Swamiji is saying, I think this sublimity, generation of it, experiencing it, being enriched by it again and again, is the one purpose of bhakti as well as spiritual life. Spirituality aims at touching the deepest level of human personality and manifesting this sublimity. What is spirituality? Spirituality aims at touching the deepest level of human personality. Where is it? Within us. And manifesting this sublimity. The sublimity will manifest there. We'll not have to look for it. We'll be one with it. Devotional practices to aim at generating the same sublimity. People generally come to an ashram to have a touch of this sublimity because they miss it in their home. When they come to the ashram, all people say, it is peaceful, it is so serene, it is so beautiful, so calm, and so much of enlightenment. They forget their home, they forget their anxieties. There is only a lightness. Why? Because everywhere there is sublimity. If you want to feel it, you will feel it. People come to the ashram only to have the touch of this sublimity because they miss it in their home. They miss it. But they can make the home also sublime. When they start introspecting, constantly thinking about it, feeling about it, and just like in the ashram, whatever you are doing at home, have it, do it, getting connected to, associated to the Supreme Being, the Supreme Power, the Supreme Lord, the Creator. You may call it Brahman, you may call it Bhagavan, whoever it is, that Supreme. Even at home you can bring about this sublimity. But you must wish it, my dear children. You must wish it. Once you are able to feel and generate the note of sublimity, questions automatically stop, enquiries dissolve, and you understand the secret of fulfillment of human life. Feel sublime. Allow yourself to be enriched by sublimity. Once you are able to feel and generate the note of sublimity, questions automatically stop, enquiries dissolve, and you understand the secret of fulfillment of human life. So feel sublime. How will you feel sublime? In your inside, be connected with your own indweller yourself. And when you are active in the wakeful state, through all the activities and interaction, again remain connected with that divinity. You will feel sublime. Feel sublime. Allow yourself to be enriched by sublimity. What is spiritual vision in the end? To love and live in this world, finding it God. What is spiritual vision in the end? We all are pursuing spirituality. Those who are listening, they all are interested and inclined in spirituality. They have understood that the worldly happiness does not give everlasting happiness. The happiness is only in finding the spiritual truth, the supreme truth. So, what is the spiritual vision in the end? To love and live in this world, finding it God, the most beautiful. That is, we live in this world, we are living in this world. Even our spiritual pursuit is in this world. We have to experience through our body in this world. Find it to be God. Inside yourself, outside yourself, in everything, at every time. Find it to be God, the most beautiful. In this beauty, we say the God is beautiful, but in that beauty, ugliness will dance. That God is beautiful, but He is manifest also in ugliness, beauty as well as ugliness. In this beauty, ugliness will dance, cruelty will sing, compassion and grace will play their notes too, but indifference must reign. In that, the mind is sublimated and refined. So, what is it saying? What is the spiritual vision? In this world we live, we must love it. We must love it and find God, the beautiful here. And that God is not just beautiful. In that beauty of God, the supremacy of God, the magnanimity of God, will dance cruelty, there will be ugliness, there will be many other pairs of opposites. And through that, those situations, what we like or dislike, we have to be enlightened and enriched and also be sublimated and refined. The serene content is brought forth well. This is a culture. That is, we have to cultivate it. This is what Swamiji is saying, that once you are able to feel and generate the note of sublimity, questions automatically will stop, enquiries will dissolve, and you will understand the secret of fulfillment of human life. So feel sublime every moment, every moment. Allow yourself to be enriched by sublimity. Okay? We will smear ourselves, drink deep this sublimity, and go about with our work, whatever we have to do. This sublimity should not leave ourselves. Even if we don't like some situations or people or some activities, the sublimity should remain with us. That is the connection with the self within, that inward connection. That is what we have to cultivate through everything. Yatraiva yatraiva mano madiyam tatraiva tatraiva tava swarupam yatraiva yatraiva shiromadiyam tatraiva tatraiva padadvayam te yatraiva yatraiva manomadiyam tatraiva tatraiva tava swarupam yatraiva yatraiva shiromadiyam tatraiva tatraiva padadvayam te. This sloka says that wherever my mind is, it sees your holy form, your Swarupa, O my Lord. And wherever I am, my head is, I find my head bowing down at your feet, holy lotus feet. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru.